legends. If you are new, welcome on in. If you are returning, what's up? You already know what the is going on. Okay, legend. I'm fighting with this light because I feel like I'm breaking all of Mariah Carey's rules right now about like lighting, posture, all of the things, right? But also I think that is very much in alignment with what we're going to be talking about today in tarot, as far as like presentability politics, right? I know that's usually a thing that we all are constantly overcoming. But just before I get into tarot, I found some flowers in the garden. Wow, the lighting, you can't even really see the flowers. I found these flowers in the edible garden that I was in. I'm trying to like not move the light, but I'm trying to like block the light so you guys can see the flowers. Like, gosh, Lee. Gosh, Lee, these are such gorgeous flowers. But if anybody knows what kind of flowers these are, feel free to drop them in the chat. Um, they were just so beautiful to me. I decided to pick them up and keep them. I'm gonna put these on my ancestor altar when I get home. Um, but yeah, so just along the lines of presentability politics and how are we showing up in the world, I'll go ahead and say a prayer so we can go ahead and get this thing started. What's up, guys that are just entering the chat? Thank you to all of our benevolent ancestors, our spirit guides that walk with us every single day and help us to be the best that we can and accomplish our goals in the best ways that we know how, as we are developing our skills in order to know how to do it even better. Thank you for giving us the grace to understand that we are exactly where we should be at this moment in time, and the grace to know that we are moving in perfect timing and in perfect alignment with our divine plan. Let's see. What does Spirit have for us? Okay. The first thing we have is Joyful Body. I feel like last time we did a reading, Joyful Body came out. I'll get 2 more cards, and then I actually want to I'll get 3 more cards. And then I'm going to go ahead and read the definitions from the books. What's up, Prince Electrician? Ooh, fancy, fancy. Okay, so we have Inner Glow. You guys can't really see the cards because the sun is just glowing so much. And then we have Sacred Belonging, that was reversed, and then we also have Heart Roots, which was reversed. Okay, so I'm going to take Joyful Body as the overall message, Inner Glow as a supporting message, and then we're going to look into the Sacred Belonging and the Heart Roots that were reversed. So first, let's read this Joyful Body. Okay, it's wow. Didn't I just show you guys the flowers? Hold on, I gotta pull the flowers back up because the first words on this page are succulent flowers. Wow, what's up, guys? What's up, all 15 people in the chat? I hope you guys are having a great day so far, or evening, afternoon, night, whatever time you're watching this. Joyful Body says succulent flowers surround you, food for body, food for soul. The sweet nectar calls you. Drink deep, replenish yourself. Feed on their beauty, become fresh and alive. Grow healthy, strong, and capable. And the key word there is nourishment, and the leaf just flew into my car window. What's up, everybody in the chat? What's up, Hamis and Amit? Um, no, I probably didn't mean to say Mom Day. If I did, you call your mom today? No. Amit, where are you from? I'm from Detroit, Michigan. So as the leaf flew into my window, that automatically makes me think about, okay, so currently I'm in Michigan, right? So currently we're going through the fall. So fall is the time where the leaves start to change colors. They start to literally fall off the trees. Most of the nourishment, right, we're talking about nourishment, most of the nourishment that the trees were providing to the leaves, right, through the sun and through the soil, but mostly through the sun, right? That's what drives the plant production, the color, all the things, right? Um, all of that energy is now being focused more so into the roots, right? The fall time is a time where most of the plants are starting to take all of the energy that it was sending to the plant parts, right? The leaves, the flowers, and because the weather isn't conducive to that kind of blossoming, is now being transferred into the roots, right? Which is interesting because we had this heart roots that was reversed. I actually do have a cat, so that is hilarious that you guessed that. Um, and then the very next card that we have is inner glow. Before I get to inner glow, I want to make it apparent that, during the fall time, a lot of us tend to look at the plants and look at nature as if nature is dying, nature is not dying during the fall, and in the winter is far from being dead, which is why so many plants are able to replenish themselves upon the season change, right? When the seasons change, things start to bloom again, things start to blossom again, more times than not without any kind of human intervention, right? That's because these things were not dead to begin with. So I think I want to start off this message with us thinking about ourselves in the way that spirit is framing the life cycle of plants, right? When seasons change, energy may be directed elsewhere. It might be directed towards the roots instead of towards the leaves and the flower blooms, but that doesn't mean that things are dead. It might feel stagnant. It might, because it feels different than what you're used to, right? It blooming and blossoming and colors, all of that is pretty, is gorgeous, is beautiful, right? But sometimes we need to, I always got to go back to that J. Cole line where he says, sometimes you got to sit down and do some living. I don't know the exact song. I need to get the exact song that I can, so I can start saying a quote right. But sometimes you need to sit down. You need to sit your tail down, do some living, do some replenishment, do some nourishment, so that when you bloom and grow, you can really bloom and grow to the capacity that you are expecting, or even outside of expectation, so that you can bloom and grow to the capacity that you were preparing for during the time of this like dormancy and redirection of your energy. I hope this is making sense. Okay, let's move on to inner glow, right? We're going to get this one out of the book as well. Okay, inner glow. Vividly bright, you shine from within. Love, confidence, happiness, emotions awake and flowing. Your glow encircles your being. You are made from light, the living starfire. Always remember your brilliance, and the key word is radiance. Okay, so I think here Spirit is talking about you when you are at your peak, right? You when you are at your most beautiful, you feel like you're at your most intelligent, right? You're in places where you shine. You're not necessarily having to do a lot of work to prove yourself, because you're already in positions where you're overqualified, or where you do know what I'm saying. This is when we really start to feel ourselves, right? So Spirit is saying when you're basically in your bag, that's inner glow. Okay, and then we have sacred belonging and heart roots that came out upside down. I'm going to read heart roots first because it's right here in the book. Heart roots says, interwoven with the grove, deep roots anchor your growth, branches reach ever up towards the light, ever out towards nearby hearts. You share space, you share time, you share your lives. Love surfaces and roars. And the key word is community. Okay, keep that in mind. And I'm going to run and grab the definition for sacred belonging. It says, you lift your eyes, the winged ones dance close enough to touch. Radiant, strong, they encircle you. You are part of this magnificence. Your whole heart smiles. And the key word there is reverence. So, one spirit with community and reverence being the keywords that were reversed here, right? With sacred belonging and heart roots. I feel like what spirit here is saying is it's not always a bad thing to it's not always a bad thing to show evolution to the community, right? Or in other words, I know that there's a lot of times when we would rather people not see us when we are fixing things, right? Or when we need to fix things. I know we would rather people not be all in our area when and in our space when we're trying to figure stuff out. When we feel like flawed, right? When the things that feel like flaws come up to the surface for us, when we don't feel at our peak health, right? When you're literally sick and most of your energy is going towards survival and replenishing yourself, whether that's literally physically sick or whether that's like you're going through some type of mental, we all go through dark nights of the soul. Spirit is saying this is not the time to pull away from your community. As uncomfortable as it may feel to put yourself in the forefront and let people see you like this, as uncomfortable as it may feel, mostly Spirit is saying because of narratives from the past. Some of you guys still have like past people replaying these narratives in your present, but Spirit is saying that is not the way that majority of people see you. Like when they see you in these periods, older people older than you, your real community, what they see is humanity. What they see is themselves. They see their nieces, their cousins, their sisters, their brothers. They see themselves in you. So Spirit is saying not to shy away and isolate and not to hide these parts of yourself, because what you're doing is you're hiding parts of your humanity from the people that actually want to help you, right? And a lot of times the things that keep us in these periods, these dark nights of the soul for so long, for some of us to the point where we start to experience psychosis, that's because you don't have the firm community around you. Those are the people that are going to pull you back into your reality, right? Whatever that looks like. These are the people that are going to keep you grounded and keep you stable, whatever that looks like. It's one thing to do all of the work for yourself. Actually, it's funny because I just came across a Snapchat. What's up, guys? What's up, Abigail and Daisy? What's up, everybody in the chat right now? I just came across a Snapchat the other day when I was talking about post-op care, but in terms of spirituality, right? So we all know we go through these spiritual awakenings. They do these huge paradigm shifts on our entire mindset, and not even on our entire mindset, on our entire lives. For a lot of us, our families changed, our living situations changed, our financial situations changed, our jobs changed. These are major life changes. When you have these spiritual experiences that then like make your actual living experience different, when you have these types of experiences, it's very necessary to then have that post-op care, whether that's therapy, whether that's adapting a new community or a new friend group, whether it's literally putting yourself in some type of community. You need to ground yourself back into your physical worldly community. Worldly not as in secular, but worldly as in outside of your spiritual team and the spirit realm. And you know like that's very necessary. It's very necessary, don't get me wrong, but Spirit here is emphasizing um that you can't do everything alone, right? And to a certain extent, we don't want to use spirituality to promote hyper individualism, because that's just not realistic. You'll start holding yourself to a lot of unrealistic expectations and then constantly being upset that you can't reach these goals because they were unrealistic to begin with. A lot of times we need community members, we need physical people in our lives to help ground us and to remind us of, not even remind us, to teach us of rules that we don't know about on the physical plane. You know, we need people around us. So even if you do feel like you're hurting, even if you do feel like you are burdened, don't feel like you're going to hurt somebody or burden them by just being. Spirit wants you to know that it's okay to just be. There's nothing wrong with you being. And the same people that you are expressing yourself to, your actual community, not the people that's gaslighting you. The very people that you're going to for this support, they experience the same things, right? So they're not going to judge you. And I think that's a major reason why a lot of times we don't reach out and touch somebody. We don't eat that up. We don't eat that up. And the reason why we don't eat that up is because I think we think that, you know, it's gonna be some tricks on the plate. But Spirit is saying that's actually where your power is going to come from, right? You can't see it. This power burst. That's actually where your power is going to come from. You know, you can do a lot of self-encouragement. Your spirit can encourage you. Notice how when you ask for certain things, Spirit will send people into your life to confirm it. So what's the difference between Spirit sending strangers into your life to validate, you know, your own spiritual experiences, and Spirit using your community? Wouldn't it be better for them to use your community, because after a certain period of time your community knows you, so they would know exactly what to say to you. They would know exactly what you need. They would know exactly when they need to reach out, because you haven't been do you know what I'm saying? Don't turn away from community, is what Spirit is saying, because they're blessing you with the community to replenish you when you need that extra nourishment, when you need that extra encouragement, when you need that extra grounding. This lighting is killing me, my dog. This lighting is killing me. I can't with this little piece that's like covering my lips and making my lips white. It's actually distracting. It's actually quite distracting. But I think that's also a part of the message too. Spirit is saying the more that you focus on trying to do everything yourself, and things that low key, high key don't matter, things that don't bring you closer to your goal, it's really nothing but a distraction, you know, to lead you farther and farther down a spiral that's low key, high key unnecessary, when you could just use your community. And I'm not saying that it's easy, because I'm definitely not one that thinks that it's like super easy to ask for help or to admit that I need help. I'm definitely one to sometimes really, really, really like just push on that hyper independence button really hard. Like way harder than I should ever be pushing it. But that's something that I'm used to. And Spirit is also letting me know to tell you guys to please be gracious on yourselves, because what you're encountering is bigger than you. Like these cycles, these feelings, these thoughts, these are cyclical, these are archaic. Yeah, we have dancing with spirit. These are spiritual. These are is I don't necessarily want to call them generational curses, but I'll call them generational patterns. These are generational patterns that you're experiencing. Okay, I was talking to my counselor about, you know, like addictions, and she started to tell me you like you have to give yourself grace for, you know, the things that you are able to accomplish and the things that you quote unquote aren't able to accomplish, because you are one single person. Do you realize that there are millions of people that work in this industry where their entire job is to make sure that people stay addicted to these things? Like, not even just in terms of the creation, but of the actual product, but the creation of the marketing, right? There's psychologists that's working on the editing of the wording to make sure that people stay addicted. There's research, like actual researchers that's doing like there is an industry. That's an industry sounds bigger than a system. A system can work in small spaces